Alright, so I'm doing a challenge trying to platinum every single game inside of the Ubisoft Plus game catalog on PlayStation. And if I can't do it before we hit 690,000 subscribers on YouTube, then I have to tattoo the platinum logo somewhere on my body. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Alright, so today I decided to platinum the last Watch Dogs game in a series that I have left to do. And it's also the worst one by far. And I think we can all agree on that. Like, usually you can't get everyone to agree on something, but if you had to pick any of these three games to be the worst, I think everyone would say Watch Dogs Legion is by far the worst. The game is entirely boring, and the story itself is so bland that it actually fits pretty perfectly with the fact that it's set in England because, you know, their food is also super boring and bland. But the game has 40 trophies total, including the platinum, and most are actually not story, which makes playing the gruelingly dragged out story of this game even more boring because you don't get jack the entire time. Stage 1 to the platinum is of course to beat the story. It opens up with an entire mission about a character who is a part of DedSec named Dalton, who is trying to break into a government place and shut down a bomb that some bad people have put there. But we would also go on to find out that numerous bombs have been planted around London, and it's basically a lost cause. Another character is introduced, being named Zero Dawn, and the dude looks like a more cartoon version of Ronin from Marvel when it was good. Zero Dawn also ends up totally blowing up London and even killing Dalton, so any assumptions of this game having a cool main character have now died. This was also the last cool part of the game. Before the first trophy popped though, for the intro, we got to watch as London basically fell under the rule of some military company that just does whatever it wants, so they are basically the main villain of the game. And there's the intro trophy pop. I can't wait to get none for like 3 more hours. That's not a joke, I wish it was. Also, the reason there are so little trophies for story is because they only pop after an entire sequence is completed, and those consist of numerous major missions in them. Before any of that though, we got to pick a character, and this game has a super weird way of doing the main character. There is none. Yeah, there is no main character you play as. You just choose like a bunch of people and can also recruit unlimited people, I think.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
And everyone has their own gun set and special power from their day job, so it's kind of like the local militia except with more retards, if that's even possible. But the first mission was to initially just restart DedSec, which operates out of a bar because that's super safe. Remember in the last 2 games when we literally had to hide out in a bunker to avoid detection from everyone? Yeah. Me neither. This game just throws out everything. It's insane. Anyways, this entire first sequence was all complete nonsense and useless missions for like the first 80% of the time spent here. Until finally we did something of use and broke into Sky Larson, who I thought was a porn star name. Turns out it's actually just some lesbian actress. Mid-movies, not gonna lie. But Sky Larson essentially invented a ton of AI crap that is now being used everywhere along with the CTOS to sort of just ruin everything. And it's a lot like what's probably gonna happen to our world in the future. Anyways, she had this house which was run by some AI voice directing us around it the entire time. And it eventually brought us into the basement, which had an entire other house down there. This is the kind of you money that I think we all want to have, and damn, Captain Marvel got it before us. What the hell. Nonetheless, we pretty much just snoop around the woman's other house for a bit, learning more and more about the heinous activities that Sky Larson gets up to down here. And eventually we would find a room full of bodies used in experiments that upload the person's brain and thoughts into the cloud, making them both immortal but also dead. And she did it to her mom, who is the AI voice of the house. Regardless of the poor movies, that is an insane villain right here. The final mission in this sequence was then right after, and it had us break into Bloom because that's where Sky Larson resides most of the time since she works there. You know, just further ruining the world like a normal Tuesday. But she was right in the middle of uploading herself into the cloud and becoming basically immortal, as I said. However, we got there just in the nick of time to stop her, and then we were posed with the option to shut it down and kill her or let her do it. I'm not gonna lie, I accidentally let her do it. I wasn't really paying attention. I actually think I dozed off for a bit there, but it's fine because we got another trophy anyway. I then got another one after like an hour of missions I don't care to talk about, just for recruiting another playable character, which you have to do like 20 times in the future, but hey, it's a start. And I'm also deciding to make the executive decision that I'm not going to talk about this game's story anymore because if I'm being honest, it's just boring. It's just boring. My glorious mind needs to be saved for another day, so I'm just going to recap what happens around the trophies. The next trophy I got was after completing the next sequence, which was all surrounding this guy right here. Basically, he's evil, and we thought he was the homie the whole time, so he double-crossed us. So yeah, we foiled his plan for now and also threw him in a jail cell right in the middle of our hangout area so he can now watch us all have fun and think about his choices at the same time. I then had to destroy a bunch of servers servers to stop some more evil hacking activities that were going on. And we also got to kill this evil lady who owns slaves and likes to beat them up. Very bad, very bad. I would end up getting to do a somewhat fun mission, however, after 10 hours of gameplay, where I got to do a boss fight, and it was against none other than Nigel, the most British name to ever exist. At first, I thought I had to destroy this giant machine in the middle of some room, which was a pain because you can't shoot it and have to do hacking puzzles instead. But once that is done with, there's a little cutscene, and then he just pops out of the fire wearing what looks like a Call of Duty skin. You then get to fight him for real this time, and it's much easier than the thing we just battled. In fact, it was kind of sad because I wasn't even paying attention and the guy still did nothing and just died to like 4 shots from my nail gun. That's actually insane levels of disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. In the death cutscene though, he was straight up just chatting our ears off and then all of a sudden decided, nope, I'm gonna die. What a great game. What a great game. It was in the final sequence, and this one had us pretty much just shut down the Bagley servers, which if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I don't blame you. Bagley is basically this super smart AI system that is used to help us inside of the game. It's like the main mission giver and voice in our head pretty much. But the AI is also used in a ton of other things that would have been weaponized had we not stepped in to stop it. So yeah, we shut down all the servers, and there was some credits that I didn't care to watch. And there's the trophy for finishing this amazing game story that we all care so much about and will remember forever. So now it's time for stage 2, which is mostly just to do all these side quests in the game that give trophies. These are a bit annoying, however, because they don't just keep on going and you have to do a few of them, then go talk to people to get more, and then do that same process over and over. It's just stupid, like the rest of this game is. It's great. But the first one I did was in relation to Bagley, who we would find out is actually based off of the conscious of that Larson girl's brother named Bradley. Also, Bradley is now just a mentally disabled gay man in a wheelchair, so this is what happens to anyone in Larson's family apparently. But before the trophy popped, Bagley was talking to Bradley and I didn't give a flying f, so I skipped it and there's the trophy. I was then doing the next side quest line, or at least I was in the middle of one of them. I sort of did them all at the same time because I didn't quite understand how they worked. But anyways, I got a headshot trophy right here, so take that. I then reached the ending to another side quest, and this time we got to drive a van full of bombs off of a railway into the River of Thames. Now that is way more exciting than watching a retard in a wheelchair, I'm not gonna lie. And there's that trophy for whatever side quest that was, I do not care. I then did another side quest where we had to like do stuff, and I don't remember what it was, but it ended with us just uploading data into the cloud and probably ruining something somewhere. So yeah, there's that trophy. I also then had to just kill some dude named Kingfisher. Low-key, that might have been my Xbox 360 auto-generated name back in the good old days, but who knows anymore. All I got this time was a trophy. And that was the final side quest I needed, so now it's time to do the other objective in stage 2 that I didn't mention. Retaking all the boroughs in Watch Dogs Legion. This is just the takeover map trophy like the other Ubisoft games, and after you retake the entirety of one borough, you get a fireworks show and also a trophy. I then spent like 2 or something hours straight, I don't really know, just grinding all these boroughs out. Overall, they aren't hard to do, it's just very repetitive because you do the same thing like 20 times over and over, and it's just a Ubisoft moment, I guess. But after taking them all over, you get the Take Back London trophy, and it's a swell time. And it's now time for the final stage of the Platinum, stage 3. The cleanup. However, this time, even though it's a cleanup, it actually takes up an insanely large portion of the game's playtime. In fact, it took me pretty much half or 40% of my playtime just here doing all these dumb objectives. I first went after my next trophy on the list I had, of course, and it was the one gotten from recruiting 20 different people with different jobs or special characteristics total. This sounds hard, but it's actually super easy because this game has an unreasonable amount of occupations, and also a shocking amount of gynecologists, which, you know, I'm not really sure what's going on in London, but damn, I saw that more than anything. And the last person I found was actually a video game developer, which is another trophy in itself. But let me tell you, finding one of these goddamn people is one of the hardest tasks you will ever do in a Watch Dogs game. I searched for 20 minutes straight and found over 10 gynecologists, but not a single video game developer. How the hell does that make any sense at all? However, I did finally look it up and saw a comment suggesting that you go to North Camden's clothing area, which apparently has a lot of video game developers, and sure enough, they did. So yeah, there's both of those trophies, and that's only the beginning of suffering. Here we go. I first did a recapture mission of a former teammate of ours that has been captured by the enemy. I'm also pretty sure this got activated in the middle of the main game story, so the poor guy has been getting tortured for weeks now. Rest in peace. I then got to cosplay as a professional spy, and it was also a woman. Didn't know they added that job into the workforce. But I did do 5 stealth takedowns in one run right here and got that execution trophy. I then farmed some drone skill trophy where you can just send the drone to go bomb people. If you remember Obama's presidential term, he also did this, but I think he got medals for it, and I just got a lame digital trophy. I don't know what's going on there. I also got to use a beekeeper person and send bees to kill people, which is a feature of this game because Ubisoft wanted to have fun. How cute. I also used the Marquise Brownlee Watch Dogs Legion character and hacked more than 5 people at once for yet again another trophy right here. And then I used another spy character's special watch to disable more than 5 guards' weapons at once. This game is confusing, I can't lie. Like, what the hell are these trophies? Just look at this next one. We gotta play as a person of influence and then make 3 of our quote-unquote followers straight from the cult beat up and kill 3 people. Absolutely crazy. But you want to know what's even crazier? A trophy from just knocking out enemies in the face with a paintball gun. Not sure how damn powerful this paintball gun is, but there's no way you get knocked out by a paintball gun. I refuse to believe it. Oh yeah, I also did a funny trophy where you recruit a high-ranking policeman and then just go around arresting people. It was great, I can't lie. Might be the only fun thing in this game. I also cosplayed as a royal guard and went to that palace thing dressed up as one for another trophy. I then just simply bought a vehicle skin, so a lot more underwhelming than arresting innocent civilians, but it is what it is. I then went to bed that night after getting that last trophy and woke up the next day to begin a wonderful experience that requires you to get a 5-star wanted level and then also escape the police while using the living statue emote. So first you have to get the living statue character and then get a 5-star wanted level, which in itself is a challenge since the game doesn't really crank it up unless you commit mass murder. But then once you get 5 stars, escaping becomes almost impossible without going in the water because this game added in drones which just infinitely spawn in after you. So my method was obviously getting a boat, as it has been in previous Watch Dogs games also. But on my first real attempt, I fell off at the last second and wasn't fast enough to activate the emote, so I failed and was very upset. Thankfully, the next try it did work out good, so that's cool, and there's that trophy. I then had to play a soccer minigame thing where you just press buttons and watch the dude air dribble it over and over. Overall, this isn't too hard, but if you slip up some buttons, you will fail quite a lot. I kind of did that. Anyways, it's not bad. There's the trophy from doing intermediate level 1 here. I then spent, I kid you not, an hour and like 15 minutes straight driving or fast traveling to every single bar in this game, both taking a drink there and then also playing darts at the same time. I can't even express how repetitive this was. It was actually the definition of insanity, like the dictionary definition. You can look it up. Thankfully, it wasn't hard to do, unlike the Watch Dogs 1 drinking trophies, but it still sucked. So there's both of those trophy pops once I got them added in. I also then spent over another hour straight doing the first of many collectible activities. This one was called the Paste Up Activities. Basically, it's just a graffiti that you have to do 47 different times around the map. And they also don't show up on the map unless you are like right next to it and can see it, which makes locating them such a fun, glorious time. Anyways, I got the trophy, so there it is. Following that was kind of a collectible, but it was from doing 20 Parcel Fox deliveries. So if you've ever wondered what the Amazon Prime one-day shipping looks like, I imagine it's a lot like this, just with a bigger vehicle and less fair income rates. So yeah, this wasn't hard. You just got to do a lot of them, and it's a drag, much like the rest of this game is. Right after that, though, I also bought a gun skin, which is a trophy because they felt bad for doing so many long ones. I then spent quite some time on pretty much every remaining trophy since there are lots of collectibles. First being from getting 15 relic artifact things total. These are represented as cardboard boxes on the map, so they are super cool. But basically, some are soul objects, which count as 1 for the trophy, but others are in sets of like 3 to 5, and you have to find the entire set for it to count as 1. It's dumb. And there's that trophy. A few minutes after, I also found 50 audio logs in the game total. This isn't as bad as the relic trophy because you get given like 35 or something during the story. However, the trophy is called Oral History, and something about that just doesn't sit right with me. I did, however, finally get enough money from picking it up on the floor like a bum to spend over 100,000 on clothing items in the game for this retarded trophy right here. But it just keeps getting worse with the next trophy because it's an all upgrade trophy, and these are notorious in Ubisoft games as being super impossible to do because nobody plays these games that much to get them. And this game is no exception. I spent 2 hours straight flying around with the drone, picking up upgrade tokens for upgrades that I will never use again. I did eventually do it, but it was awful the entire time. I wanted to cry more than once. But there was actually 2 trophies attributed to this whole collectible thing. Once I did both of them, which are also both just upgrade trophies, I did end up reaching the Platinum Trophy and getting it. So that was the Watch Dogs Legion Platinum Trophy experience. I'm not gonna lie, this didn't take me nearly as long as the guide did because I was speedrunning it since it was so bad. But I also hit a rare mental block and I didn't play for an entire day straight, which sounds normal for most people, but I usually play all day, every day to make these videos. And this game just took me out. It literally ruined my love for gaming for a day. So yeah, 0 out of 10. I actually hate this game. It sucks. It's one of those games that literally I just cannot play. It's so bad. And I don't want to hear any crap for giving it that rating. The thing is so boring and balls. I can't anymore. I just can't do it.